Welcome to hole number one of the Winter Festival 9-hole Cup, played here on the good old Sharuba Springs course. I'm looking forward to this one. It is definitely becoming a bit of a classic. 4.5 top, 2 bars of left spin here at max with my extra mile level 6. The bottom of that red ring is touching the rough. You'll notice that we're going to adjust this shot 10% max distance right down the left-hand side. You can certainly play the right-hand side as well. I do enjoy that route depending on the wind direction. But with a decent wind like this, I think this is going to be the path that most players would typically choose to play. You might play with a little bit of left curl here. You might use a little bit of right depending on how it sets up. But generally speaking, somewhere around here should do very, very well. Second shot is very, very uphill. Negative 20% mid elevation here. I'm going to use 2 bars of backspin with the backbone club. Level 9, I know it's not the lowest level backbone, but generally speaking, if you have like a 6, 7, or 8, you're probably going to leave this one like about 4 to 6 green squares short, but definitely just sort of copy the bounces that you see here. And, you know, you could also use a Goliath or any other long iron that you prefer that has, you know, ball guide or accuracy or the things that you value. I'm about the ball guide. But I especially am about the perfect ball. You have to hit perfect here, everywhere. Get the hole a little bit fast, but that's how we start the tournament. All right, so hole number 2, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways here, as with many of the holes here in the tournament. 2.2 bars of backspin with the navigator ball and the backbone club. You might have seen the 30% in that app, but this is a 1-to-1 play that I'm playing here. And I find with the backbone, actually in rookie, that's one of like the greatest secrets I figured out. It plays so well at 1-to-1. So you can see I even pulled maybe 4 rings, 3.9 or 4 rings here in this 3.9 win. We just set it up to roll it up, get in the hole. I'm going to show you the rough bump next. Okay, hole number 2. This one is the rough bump. Now, a little bit more aggressive here. Not as much room to work with. We're getting that katana ball because the only thing we need here is 3 bars of right spin. And as you can see, I'm going to set this one up with like about half the yellow ring in the rough with that ball guide line heading directly to the hole. I'm looking at the app, but you'll see here 4.2 wind. We're going to pull 4.2 rings just like that. And we're going to give it a go here. Now, this one comes in just about perfectly. You're going to have to tweak it a 0.1, 0.2 here and there. But generally speaking, gets it where it needs to go. Let's go. Okay, so hole number 3, this is when Sharuba starts to show its teeth. With that extra mile 6, I've got a Titan ball anywhere from 3 to 4 bars of top spin, 2 bars of left spin here. And I'm playing directly to that second fairway. You can certainly bounce it over from the first fairway and roll it down to the second one. But when you have a headwind on the second shot like we do here, you're going to need as much distance on this drive as possible. So keep that in mind. The second shot here would actually justify a kingmaker to cut down that wind and make it a little bit easier. However, I try to keep these guides as cheap and accessible and, you know, generic for as many people as possible. So substitute as you are able to get the best result possible. Second shot, as I was talking about here, 2.2, it's not too bad. But if you have a huge wind here, you might just clip the rough and barely roll out on this second shot. So keep that in mind. 6 top, 2 left, max overpower, and like 2 balls of left curl here. Because this fairway, it can do some funny things and get you in the rough on the right quite frequently if you're not careful. Now here with a minor great right, if I remember correctly, yes, this will put us in a good way, you know. But again, this is a long hole, as you can see, a max overpower big dog, and we still got a little bit of work to do to get it down there. That's a considerable uphill advantage, as you can see, but with this Endbringer, even at max, now it's a level 3 Endbringer, so I'm going to play it in the video at 10% because that's, you know, anything below level 5, you would play a 15 or 10%. But in general, I think you should always start playing this shot at 20. And then go from there. And of course, you know, longer ball, longer club, stuff like that. You know, many things can be done on a hole like this, but this is the general setup. Going to give you kind of an idea of how you can, you know, how you can get it done. And, you know, might have to tweak a couple of numbers, but that's the whole point. Save you some practice tokens, save you some balls, and get you there in an easier way. So let's go on to hole number 4. Hole number 4, this one can be a decent opportunity, kind of depending on the wind. 1 back, 2 bars of right spin here with the Quasar, and I've got the backbone club. Notice the blue ring It's just off of the rough line there, and I got that ball guide running up nicely to the hole. 1-to-1, as I mentioned earlier, with the backbone, tends to continue playing very, very well here in the rookie division. Obviously, that'll work well in any division as long as it's going to be the perfect shot that you need for the setup. Second bounce here, as you can see on the green, rolls in very, very nicely. Hot, but it'll work. We can work with it. Let's go. Hole number 5, first thing, conservative path. Left side, going to use the quarterback and a quasar ball, 3.8 topspin to be very technical. And I'm just aiming this one down the middle of that left side fairway. 1-to-1 on the adjustment, meaning 3.6 rings for a 3.6 wind. And we're just going to hit this one clean. You're going to see here in just a moment, you don't want to give it too much topspin here because you can put yourself actually behind a light post, which is most certainly in play. Ask me how I know. But you can go past it if you'd like and also have a very similar shot. Now, you'll see me here almost absolutely on the min line. Now, with this kind of wind, you probably should play the max Goliath. But this is a tough one to drop. And I kind of got in the habit of playing it with Sniper, and I was sort of like, you know, thinking about what to do. So I give it a couple of bars of backspin, and I just kind of move it up from min a couple of rings. I probably could do that in a little more exact way, but now this is a long time ago. I'm going to play this one at like 10% slider because I moved it up from min, and so then we're going to pull 3.9 rings here. Not the worst thing, not the best thing, but I think the outcome is what you're interested in. And I think this is going to be a very safe path to get this one to green because I'm going to show you the aggressive route next, and it is definitely not as spicy as that. All right, so hole 5 on the right side, no move target there with the quarterback, meaning I'm not moving it from its original landing position. 3.8 top, 2 right with the quasar. We're going to adjust here 1-to-1. You'll notice I'm pulling into overpower a little bit. So I'm going to give it like circle break overpower and 1 ball of right curl. Do try to hit perfect here. Oopsies. But the quarterback nicely has a decent amount of accuracy, which shouldn't put us too far offline. Just gets us a little bit closer to that rough on the right-hand side. However, this is pretty safe for greats on either side, so not too much of a problem. With the Goliath now, we're going to give this about 4.2 bars of topspin, 1 bar of right spin. And we're going to adjust this shot at 0% mid-distance. You'll notice I have the top of the yellow ring just poking out of the rough. And of course, this level of Goliath doesn't have quite the ball guide we'd like to see, you know. So we're going to have to do a little bit of eyeballing here. A lot of that to be done in rookie. You know what I mean? When you don't have the ball guide to work with. So you just kind of have to play by feel. Use a little bit of that instinct, your gamer prowess. I believe in you. I know you got it in you. Do hit perfect though on the approach. It is essential. However, this one is tough. Don't expect it to drop all the time, but just about. And we're going to have a lot more drops in the video. Okay, hole 6 now. We're setting up here in a safe way, trying to get this one down to the green safely. Now, I'm going to use the big dog here on the left-hand side. Top of the red ring at the top of the rough, anywhere from like 4 to 4.5 bars of topspin, depending on the wind, of course. In this direct tailwind, it's about 4.2 bars. Puts us in a safe position. Now, I am going to play 10% max here. And yes, I will use big dog settings. Come on. There we go. Okay, so like 1.5 ring or so of adjustment. No big deal. No overpower here. Be careful. You can certainly roll into the rough at the end of the second fairway, and that can put you in a pretty bad way to try to get the eagle here. So gives enough room to bounce there. Lots of clearance heading onto the second fairway. And again, you could give this a lot more topspin, but you're still going to be able to make it from here. But to keep your life easier, do use more topspin. And the second shot here won't have to be max overpower. 6 top, 2 left. And you'll see here, I'm trying to just get this one to hit the fairway and then bounce into the rough and roll out. I don't have footage of the third shot, but spoiler alert, we're going to be right next to the green. You're going to play a 20% elevation end bringer. And as you can see, this one is going to be very, very makeable to get the eagle. Okay, so hole 6, now with the power hook. This is going to be the shot you do want to spend some practice tokens on to make sure it's going to work in the wind that we get. 3.8 top, 3 left here with the Kingmaker ball. I'm going to drag it down to the +1 yard mark where the yellow is just dipping into the bunker and just touching onto the rough. Max overpower, max left curl, full left hook. You may need to take a bar of left spin off here, depending how it's going to go. You'll see that we're playing into a left to right headwind here, so it works out quite nicely here. However, you can just play with that side spin. Certainly can play it with a Titan ball as well if you have tailwind. So keep that in mind, just an option for you here. Second shot with the sniper. Tailwind, of course, is going to be very, very, very nice at a max sniper distance. If you have a horizon, you can certainly play a rough bump here or a more developed sniper that might have a bit more topspin to get there. However, I'm going to play 4 bars or so of backspin, about 1 bar of left spin. And because of the Kingmaker here, we have a very small amount of rings to pull. And we just are able to actually execute that there with the minimal amount of room to work with. This one, it's just like, oh my gosh, oh so close to getting the Albie here. But I think this is going to be a very, very attractive option for many players. Hole 7, this par 4 is no walk in the park. Navigator at a quarterback, I'm going to use 5 bars of backspin, 1 bar of right spin. You'll notice my red ring is like a quarter or a third into the rough. I want you to have the top of the red ring at the top of the rough, or use a little bit more backspin with this shot. You'll see here how this comes in oh so close to the top of the rough very nicely, but you don't want to play the margins quite this tight. However, if you dial it in, you dial it in. That's how it is. Second shot with the sniper heel. You'll notice I'm not using any spin on this setup. And take a look at the right side of the red ring in relationship to the rough. So tip of the ball guide there, pointing directly down towards the pin, leaving it like just a couple of clicks before the front edge of the cup. And with this 2.2 wind, gonna give you an example of why you should have your wind app ready prior to the hole here in just a moment. I'm struggling. Oh, it's not where I want it. Taking time, having to change things. Now we have time, but if it's a complicated shot, you don't want to be doing that when the clock is ticking. So you make your adjustment there, and you're just going to try to hope to get yet another drop. Sharuba can be fun. It can also be absolutely soul-crushing. Try to just get those eagles on the par 5s. And if you get lucky, baby, get some eagles on the par 4s too. Let's go. Hole number 8, setting up here the conservative safe play first. Goliath and a Quasar, 2 back, 2 left. And as you can see, I'm just kind of eyeballing it to get that ball guideline aimed directly at the hole. The red ring, you can sort of see the references of the rings in relationship to its surroundings, but I'm really just eyeballing the tip of the ball guide here and getting this one safely to the green. I wouldn't say that this is your best bet to get the drop, but once you practice it a little bit and get it kind of figured out, cross headwind here isn't exactly the best possible conditions, you will give yourself a good look. I'm also going to show you an even better look with the rough bump in a moment. Just about, baby. But this one will certainly put us in a good position. All right, so hole number 8, once again, sorry for the little bit older footage here. However, 5.5 bars of top spin, approximately 1.5 bars of left spin here, with that green ring straddling the bunker and the fairway. You must absolutely and completely hit perfect here if you want things to go your way. 15% max on the adjustment here. Should be about a 2-ring pull. As you can see, I'm pulling it from that red ring just so I don't have to pull down in the bunker with the yellow as much. I don't know if it matters or not, but that's how I felt at the time. Just trying to point out the little things that I did so that hopefully you can recreate them and find an equal amount of success. You can see there's been so many drops in this video. I can't leave you hanging on hole number 8. Let's go. Hole number 9, the par 5s on this course do not relent. Bring your big topper in a Titan, max top, 1 bar of right spin. Now we're very, very close to min here. Headwinds and crosswinds on the drive anyway make it a little bit easier. If you bring a Kingmaker here, you won't need to pull as many rings. You see we're right down to the min line. In some situations you have to use a little bit of underpower here. It just depends on how much you pull and how close you are to that line. If you accidentally pull your club back into the big dog and then try to go back to big topper, double check your spin. Make sure you have all of your top spin prior to taking the shot. Second shot, 6 top, 2 right with the big dog, and you're going to adjust it on that second to last fairway. There's the top, there's the right. As you can see, I got about half that red ring in the rough, Even though we're kind of at mid distance, we're actually playing this one at max anyway. I'm going to play, like I said, here in a safe way, trying to get this one to the eagle on all the par 5s. The par 3s are a great opportunity. Par 4s come next, and the 5s are very difficult. We're going to see a lot lower scores, I would think, compared to the last tournament, but anything could happen. A little bit too much curl there. Guys, thanks for watching. Good luck in the Winter Festival 9-hole Cup. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you so much.